Oh man, guys, welcome back to the podcast. Welcome back to Raw Focus. Thank you so much for tuning in today. We just did an amazing podcast over Facebook Live. Finally got Facebook Live to work. I think I figured it out. And it was fun. It was with my buddy Kyle. So I'll introduce him in a second. My name's Jeremy. I own Jeremy Lou Photography, and I'm based out of Reno, Nevada. I'm a father, entrepreneur, husband, mentor, educator, YouTuber, TikToker. Basically, I'm just kind of everywhere. But photography is my passion, and I'm really, really freaking good at it. You can find my work at jeremylou.com. And I started this podcast for the simple reason of I want to get to know people, and I want to get to know people as people because I feel like a lot of people know me, and I haven't really gotten the opportunity to investigate and talk to people I kind of do business with every day, or people that I call friends. And I want to get their stories out there a little bit on the less celebrity side. So I know this podcast isn't going to go crazy, but it's something fun for me to do, especially during the coronavirus time, to kind of push forward. So right now it's April 15th, and it's supposed to be tax day, but tax day is not happening, so I'm not doing that for a while. But we have some fun things going on. Unemployment's coming through, SBA is coming through. Today is my brother-in-law's birthday, so happy birthday, Presley. He is April 15th, tax day, baby. So we don't get to see him today, but I'm sure when this is all done, we'll be able to see him later on and celebrate properly. He's back home from school. He doesn't go to school here, but he's back home now, and school's canceled and all that fun stuff. So we're kind of in that boat, but really just kind of mundane daily life, filming these things. I will be doing I'll be featured on another podcast in a few hours here. So I'm going to get ready to do that. And it's just a busy life for the entrepreneur, right? Trying to keep busy, trying to stay busy, trying to keep my brain sane, getting in the shower, doing things today. And that's really what I want to do. So today we're talking to Kyle McClelland, who's a good buddy of mine. We talk about how we met back in Subway when he was behind the counter at Subway, and I would go there with my girlfriend every day and get sandwiches. And it's kind of amazing to think that somebody that I knew just interacting with 4 or 5 times a week, getting lunch, became such a busy and amazing entrepreneur in our area. He owns Have Lights. Have Lights Will Travel, and they do custom lighting, electric work, basically anything. He made me a bunch of custom lights for myself, and they do installs all over town with, like parking lot lights inside of buildings, commercial buildings, and all that stuff. But the coolest thing, and this is why I do this, is that his wife just started their family business. His wife's running it. Is Golden Owl bookshop. I'm going to find them on Instagram right now. And they are a mobile bookstore, which has so many implications and so many things that can happen that I'm very excited for them to do. And he said you can even buy audiobooks and credit towards them. So we're going to get into that. But before we do, if you guys are finding this, thank you so much. Please subscribe, rate, share, whatever you do with podcasts to help this extend a little bit more. I'm just a normal guy, and I'm not pushing this too hard, but if you're listening to this, I do appreciate you taking the time out of the millions of podcasts that are out there, out of the million celebrity podcasts that are out there. You're choosing to listen to me for a little bit of time. So thank you guys so much. Without further ado, here is Kyle McClelland.
What's up, dude?
Hey, buddy. How's it going?
Oh, just living the dream.
That's what I like. I've been spending the last 30 minutes trying to get Facebook Live to work. And it didn't work yesterday. It worked last night when I tested it. And then now it's not working again. And I've uninstalled, installed Facebook and freaking Zoom and everything. And I have no idea what's going on. But of course you write to them and they're like, no, everything's fine. People are going on live.
You're like, I can't though. So what am I supposed to do?
Oh my God. It's so freaking stupid. How's everything going, man? How's life?
Good. Trying to make the best of everything that we've got going on for sure. It's not easy, but it's
right.
Just new. I've been doing more videos and stuff for the company, and posting them on Instagram, Facebook, and really just trying to encourage people to stay happy, smile, set goals. Today, I posted one about learning, everybody should try to learn something new every day.
Right.
And so, because if you're not growing, you're dying. So that kind of concept. So just that is all I'm
I
trying
agree.
to share that message.
Yeah, I think people need to not settle ever in anything they do. And I think once that happens, then, then everything's kind of sad in that aspect.
Well, you see it that they say that people that retire that aren't using their brains anymore, like they usually die within 5 years of retiring if they're not engaging and being active. So
I've heard that. And what's that? Is that just because they're not like living anymore, like as a human, or like their brains have something to do with it from not like generating anything?
I'm not a scientist, so I don't know the answer, like the scientific answer, but I do know that there is something to be said about if you're not engaging your brain. My grandpa went to the hospital once, and before he passed away, and it was failure to thrive is what they called it. So like he didn't have a purpose anymore. And so you just kind of get lazy and your body starts to shut down.
Failure to thrive.
Yep. That's the medical term.
That's intense. Yeah. I mean, I think it goes with that. And then like, how like some people that have been married for a long time and then like their wife dies and they die like the next day or something. It's weird how stuff like that works. That's intense.
My grandparents are 94, 92, and I can promise that when one of them goes, the other will either go the same day or within several days after. The only reason they live is for each other.
Right.
So,
which is cute, which is nice. And, yeah, I mean, I can't even imagine that once you get to that point and you lose the person you've been with your entire life, like, it's not like you don't want to go on anymore, but what's the freaking point, right?
Right. Yeah. They've been married 75 years. Like 75 years is a long time to be with the one person, right?
That's like half. I mean, it's not even double my age at this point. Right? That's insane. When did they get married then?
I mean, I don't know. He fought in World War II. So he was, it was forever ago. I don't even know. He was born, well, he's 94. What's that? So that's 70, it takes 70, so 36 or 26. Right. He was born in 1926, right? Yeah. He was born in 1926 and he was 17 when they got married. So that's 42. 1942 is when they were married.
Wow.
Long time.
Yeah. I mean, that's like, and that's old school stuff. That's like nobody does that anymore. And I mean, people are happy to make it to like 20 years now. And
only have one. People are happy to just have one marriage now.
I know. And then if it's done,
or
they're
two
done.
marriages, honestly.
I know. Well, I just interviewed a buddy of mine, Evan, and he's on his third marriage. And he's like, you learn. And it was a whole big like emotional thing for him. But definitely a lot different than what I expect. Because I'm on my first. You're on your first, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And so I say that like there's going to be a second. But you're on your first, right? So we got
there will not be a second
time.
for me. I've told Alex I'll probably be in prison if we're not together. It'll be she's dead and I'm in prison. So,
I mean, I got to. Oh God, I don't even know. Like we were talking about something, and like, yeah, if I ever got divorced, I wouldn't get remarried again. Like, I wouldn't. I just don't want to go through the same thing again. Like, you invest all this time, and then all of a sudden for nothing. But you know, we have kids. You guys have a bunch of kids, and so it's a lot. It's a lot different on that aspect. Where I think Evan, he doesn't have kids of his own, so the transition really is a little different. And I think people that don't have kids, it's harder for them to get divorced and transition out.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things.
I agree with that. Yeah, having kids does make it absolutely a bigger challenge because my sister, she's divorced and has kids, and that I couldn't imagine trying to split with Alex. The custody and 1 week on, 1 week off, and holidays, like that's hard.
Oh my God, yeah. Yeah, and I mean, I do know some people that can make it work, but it's a lot of fighting. It's a lot of stuff in between. that they don't realize.
Well, especially if they're not cordial with each other, right? Like that's the biggest thing. If you're not happy, if you are fighting and it's just tumultuous, that's the bad part, right?
Right.
When you're fighting that way, and then you're also putting the kids, in jeopardy. They, oh, I do this at my dad's or I do this at my mom's, and they're fighting with each other. That sucks. That's hard. So I'm grateful that we just celebrated our 13th anniversary. Well, I
Oh,
was married
man.
at 20. So like we were
Yeah.
married really young, and I'm
Yeah.
not, so we
How old is
definitely
she?
have it. She's 35. I turned 34 on Sunday. So she's
Okay.
a
So she's like a
year and
year,
a couple
2 year
weeks,
older.
a year and a month or two older.
Awesome.
So yeah.
Yeah, that's not too bad. I think Lindsay and I have been married. We'll be married 12 years this year. But I think I got married at like 23, 24, something like that. But Lindsay was 21. I think we
Gotcha.
got married. So yeah, I mean, yeah, to think back then, like even when I shoot weddings now with kids that are 20, 19, I'll get those and I'll just go shoot their weddings. I'm like, you look like freaking babies. Like even the way they like pick things for their weddings, like it's all Converse. It's just this whole like, joke of a world almost. Like they want, a lot of Star Wars stuff, a lot of, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. And then you get to like the older people that have money, who have established, and they have a totally different wedding. So I'm kind of like, should I say anything? And I never say anything. I'm never going to say anything.
Right. Yeah, no, I look at our baby, or I say baby pictures. I look at our wedding pictures and we looked like babies for sure.
Right.
It was not, I was married before I could drink, which I don't drink anyway, but I was married before I could drink, which is just intriguing to think about. So,
right. So did you drink? So why don't you drink?
it's a preference. There's a religious aspect to it. I don't drink
Right.
because of I don't want to get drunk. That's my religious belief, is not getting drunk. And my, tendency is that once I have one, I have another and another and another until I'm drunk. So I just
Right.
choose, on rare occasions, I'll have a drink here and there, Christmas parties, things like that. But
Right.
it's not my thing. I'm a control freak. So when I'm out of control, when my body's not in control, when I'm not in control of it, I freak out and get anxiety. So
Yeah, I can feel that. Do you use your family, or do you have any history of like alcoholism or anything?
no, I don't. In fact, pretty much growing up, nobody in my family drank. My dad would, again, same kind of thing, every so often come home and have a drink like once every 6 months. It wasn't, regular thing. So nobody in our families has a history of alcoholism or anything like that.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, I don't know if my family does, but there's always this. I don't. I drink every once in a while. I mean, I had a couple of drinks the other day, but like, yeah, like I remember in my 20s, like when I drank, I would drink until like blackout, right? So drink until get super drunk, blackout, and that was the goal. And it was more about the social aspect of it. So making sure that I kept drinking, making sure like if my hand was empty, I'm done with the party. So I have to make sure that I always have to have a drink, and then make sure other people have a drink too. So I was always that kind of social drinker. Um, but I feel like there's an element of alcoholism, or like I know my dad was a gambler. And so I'm always concerned about that. So I choose not to drink, but probably even like, I drink probably more than you, but it's one of those things where I just don't care anymore about it. Like I don't, I don't feel like I'm an alcoholic. I don't need to do meetings, but like, it's just not fun to wake up hungover, I guess. And
Right.
that's
That's not
kind
a
of
good
what I think
feeling.
about. No, it's ridiculous. I'm going to try to log out. All right. So we're going to get this started here in like 4 minutes. I'm going to log out of Facebook and then try to log back in.
Okay.
I have no idea what's going on. No, I don't want to create a new account. I want to log in.
Yeah. We did last Friday. I've probably had more drinks in the last month than I had all last year. Because there's only four of us in the office. So
Right.
we went, we had some drinks. I got margarita mix, and we had some margaritas like a couple weeks ago.
Oh,
And
nice.
it was fun just to have a margarita in the office, and it was a Friday afternoon. And then
Right.
last Friday we picked up some Blue Moon has a iced coffee flavored Blue Moon, which was actually really amazing.
Right.
And so we had a couple blue moons and we had a meeting. It was a management meeting, and there were just the four of us. So it was kind of cool. So
Yeah, I like, and that's the fun thing about like, small businesses. Although I know that your business is a small business. I don't feel like it's a small business. I feel like you guys are everywhere. All right, dude, I got it to work. I
awesome.
logged out of Facebook, logged back in. So if that's my fix, I literally have done everything but that. I'm like, well, logging with Facebook has nothing to do. So it's going to be kind of smooth transition. I'm just going to go live, and we're going to
Okay.
keep this conversation going. I'll monitor the comments if anybody does say anything. I don't anticipate a lot of people are watching because every time I do this, the president's on, somebody else is on, and they're watching that instead. My goal is
Okay.
to keep this as a podcast. And I'll do the intro after everything, but it's going to be called Raw Focus. Your episode will probably come out in about 4 weeks or so. But I'm trying to post them once every week, even though I'm shooting them every single freaking day. I'm trying to get a
Okay.
backlog of everything. So we're going to talk about just what's going on now. I have a list of things to talk about. I might bring up some stuff before. I'll bring up our past and our history of how we met.
Okay.
And we'll kind of go through that route. Is there anything you don't really care to talk about or you think is weird or
No,
cool?
I'm an open book, man.
Cool. And if it comes up to it, we're a conversation. You can always just say, I don't want to talk about that. Or
Okay.
how dare you ask me questions about stuff like that?
We're like, no, we never did make out, Jeremy.
Just that one time. I hit live when we did that too. That's good. Good times.
Nice.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Welcome back to Raw Focus. I'm here with Kyle McClelland. Do I say that right?
Yep, that's right.
Is it McClelland or Mac?
No, it's McClelland.
McClelland. Yeah, and I think it's like the rule of the MAC and the MC has a different like pronunciation or something, right?
Yep. Yeah, MAC would be Mac.
Yeah, I think it's a huge thing. So now I heard somebody say that, and I have to think about it every single time somebody does mention that. So we are continuing this journey of me interviewing people. So if you guys are watching this and viewing this, please comment. I'm happy to look at the comments, and we'll talk. But we're just having a conversation with Kyle and I, and I've known Kyle since 9th grade for me, which is 1999. I was a freshman in high school, and actually maybe even 2000 because I was driving then. So
Yep.
I was a sophomore in high school then, and I was dating this girl Stephanie, and Stephanie and I would have the same schedule. So we went to Reed High School, and we would have this tradition, which is weird now, is we would go to Subway. And then we would go back to her place and we would watch a soap opera called Passions because that was all about, like, that's what she liked to do was soap operas called Passions. And so it was my way of just connecting with her, staying with her. But every time we went to Subway, we met one of two people. There was a blonde lady and then there was this young kid who would make our sandwiches. Now that I think about it, did you even go to school?
Yeah, I think I must have had. I was a freshman when I worked at Subway, and
Right.
I must have. I know I got right out of school and rode my bike straight to work. So
Right.
our schedules must have been right in time, and I must have made your sandwich right when I got there.
Yeah, and that's the time when Subway used to do those little tickets. You used to get a card instead of stamping it, they gave you little tickets, and you guys would just give us. I don't even. It was what's her name? What's your boss name? Was it Teresa or something?
Yeah, it was Teresa. Yeah.
God, I can't even remember that. She would just give me a shit ton of stamps, and so we'd always get these. And I always get these like for some reason, and we always got the kid Subway sandwiches, which is the round sandwich rather than a long one. And so that's where I met you, and really didn't think much of it. We just kind of went, ordered our sandwiches, talked to you. You joked around. You had personality, which is kind of cool to know because of what you've become. But you now own Have Lights Will Travel,
Yep.
which is a huge company. And I want to talk about how you got into that in a second. But if you guys don't know Have Lights Will Travel, basically, if you go to any like school, store, mall, Legends, anything, and look at their lighting, those guys that have like the big trucks and they go up to the top of the lighting, that's them. And then I'm sure you do like all commercial, all businesses, small, large, whatever. But you guys are like the lighting gurus and kings. How did this become your passion or what you're doing? Like when did you start this? Tell me about like this journey from Subway to here.
From Subway to here. Well, so and it's crazy that I actually still remember that you guys would get a turkey and cheese kids meal with no mayo or anything on it, which
Yeah.
was always kind of weird to me. But like you got to have something on it. But no, we when I graduated high school, a couple of my buddies worked for Have Lights, and through a roundabout way, I ended up getting them the jobs when we were in high school because
Nice.
my cousin's mom, my cousin's husband's mom worked there or here.
Okay.
And
So it was
so it
already a
worked.
business, right? So Have Lights Will Travel
Yeah,
was
yeah.
already around. Okay.
So we were established. The company was established in 1979. The former owner was Reg Willison, and he started it kind of as a door-to-door light bulb salesman is what it was. And the
Oh,
name Have Lights Will Travel, there used to be a TV show called Have Gun Will Travel,
yeah.
and he was a huge Western guy, and so he loved that name, and he took the name and turned it into Have Lights Will Travel. So
That's cool. That's a cool
that's where the
little
name came
pun.
from. Yeah. So after high school, I was going to UNR, and I came to the building and went to go have lunch with my friends. And when I was walking out of the building, I saw Reg in his office, and I said, "Hey, when are you going to give me a job?" And about 2 hours later, my buddy calls me and he's like, "Hey, Reg wants to talk to you. You should come in." So I went in and
Wow.
I sat down, and he's like, "Yeah, I'd like to hire you on." And I showed up on Monday in my slacks and a button-up T-shirt, ready to go out because I thought I was a salesman.
Oh
And
God.
because
Yeah.
one of my buddies was a salesman, and he's
Right.
like, "No, you're actually going to be a technician in the field, like installing the lights."
Right.
And oh, okay, that's good to know. So I went home, changed, came back, and so I worked in the field for about 2 years, and then some medical things happened, and I ended up having to be in the office after surgery for about a month.
Oh
And
wow.
when I was in the office, I basically changed all of the operations. My degree is in computers, so I kind of changed a huge amount of operations, saw things that we could do differently, and I never really went back into the field. I went back for a little bit, but I pretty much was in the office after that point, and worked my way up to ops manager, became the general manager. And then when I graduated college, it was right in the recession, and I was making
Oh
good
wow.
money. And I went to Reg and I said, "Hey, I'm either going to buy your company from you or go use my degree." And so then he agreed to sell me the company. And that was in 2009. I started buying the company in 2010 and became 100% owner in 2017.
So 2009, you were probably, how old are you? Like 22, 24, something like that?
I was 23. I graduated in June, and my oldest son was born in August. So
Oh
it
my
was
God.
a lot going on at that time.
But I think that's how we thrive, right? I mean, like, I remember in everything in my career, like, hey, Jeremy, you want to become a photographer? Like, quit massage, have the babies, you have to pay for this, but just do it. And that kind of made me push for what I needed to push for. But yeah, being a 23-year-old owning this giant business, like it's almost unheard of, right? It's like I talk to 23, 24, 25 year olds now, and their drive is like, yeah, one day I'm going to get to that. Right now I'm just hanging out, enjoying life. And I'm like, I get it, but like do something now. Um, and then how long had you been married before this time? You and your wife were married for about 4 years before this time?
3 years before this time, yeah.
Cool. And what was she thinking of this whole thing when you were like, babe, I'm going to buy this company? And she's like, okay, how are you going to buy a company?
Yeah, that's actually a funny point because we at this point, I'm actually looking at a potential exit strategy at some point in the next few years, just because, not that I want to sell the company and not be a part of
Hmm.
it, but so we talk about this because pretty much for the last 10 years, 11 years,
Right.
it's all been my plan. It's all been everything about me. And I was
Yeah.
young and selfish, in fairness. And I didn't really consult with my wife about it. It was more like, this is the path that I'm on and you're here for the ride.
Oh,
And
wow. Yeah.
so unfortunately, I didn't have that knowledge. I wasn't really, paying attention to both of our needs at that time, in the sense of like, hey, what's your input?
Right.
And so I just did it, and she was along for the ride. Now I look back and I'm like, man, I wish I would have just talked to her a little bit more about it. We talked, but it was more,
Yeah. Is there
this is my
something
thought.
that
I'm going to do it.
is there something she wanted to do, or did she have? Are you saying that like some of her dreams got put on hold because she was focused on you, or is there something that you guys talk about now where she's like, "Babe, I wanted to have done this, but we were just kind of focused on you"? Because I hear that all the time, and I'm actually guilty of that as well. But yeah, I'm interested in that. What does she say about that, or does she guilt you at all? Or, I mean, I don't want to say guilt you, but
No,
like, does she bring that up?
it's not for her. It wasn't that she wanted to do a specific thing.
Mm-hmm.
She's from Arizona, is where she was born. I was born and raised in Reno, and part of her desire is to move to a different state. So right now we're looking at different opportunities. She'd love to move to the East Coast.
Oh wow.
So like North or South Carolina is kind of where she's honed in on. So it was more or less about moving to a different place for her than it was really what she would want to do. So she understood that, hey, in order to make that happen, we would need to have finances to be able to do that. So
Right.
she wasn't in a big rush, but now she's more in the state like, hey, I'd like to do this. Let's try to make a plan and make that happen.
Yeah.
But she did, she just graduated in December. She got her degree in hospitality management. She
Oh,
could
that's
have done
awesome.
that before, but in fairness, she couldn't have because 4 kids and being
New
at
giant
home,
business. Yeah.
yeah,
On top of
it's
it.
not really possible. She did it. It's amazing that she did it. That
Right.
it's hectic in our house at times. I'm sure you have all
We have
the
four.
kids
Yeah,
and
we have four, and you have 4 or 5. You have four, right?
4. Yeah, don't give me
Four.
one more
Yeah.
than I need, man.
No,
Four's good.
I mean that's what I said too. And then 9 years later, you get another one.
Yep.
You just make it happen. That's awesome. So she's hospitality management. Has she
Yep.
started like she looked for a job, or is she doing something with it now?
You know, ironically, so we are in the process, it's her company, but we're in the process of starting it's a mobile bookstore. So it's basically Barnes and Noble on wheels,
Holy crap!
and it's called Golden Owl Bookshop. And you should go onto Instagram and follow Golden Owl Bookshop.
I
It's
think I saw you post something somewhere, and I kind of just like forgot about it. I was gonna check it out, but it's on Instagram, Golden Owl Bookshop.
Yep, Golden Owl Bookshop. And so the concept is she's going to go to office complexes and places like that during lunch, open up, and people can come out that don't have time to
Right.
go and shop, or they want to support a local store. She'll be there. Open up at Food Truck Fridays if we have those this year. Open up at Food Truck Fridays. And then she's working with some schools to do their book fairs. So
Right.
instead of them setting up in the library, kids can
Scholastic
come out.
and yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
So,
that's freaking amazing. I mean, I just ordered through the recession here. There's a network marketing crew, and I just ordered a bunch of books for Jet, like 9 books, and they shipped it and delivered it, and that's awesome. They're just little kid like 1, 2, 3 count books, but I love that idea. I love that even just parking somewhere at a business or something and just posting that you're there and just grab a couple books while you go, or um, because my kids do like going to Barnes and Noble just because there's books, but I also hate it because um, I don't know. I get a weird vibe in there. Like I can't find anything ever.
and hers is one of the things that we do for our anniversary, most of the time, we'll go to a different state and we'll go to independent bookshops. So we really enjoy going to bookstores together and kind
Right.
of checking them out. And so we feel the vibe of what other bookshops have, and that's what she's integrating into her own store.
Right.
And so she'll have reviews of company, of books. She really is focused on kids books, so there will be a lot of kids books in there, but she'll have all
Cool.
the adult books as well.
All right. Golden Owl Bookshop. I will look it up and I'll share the crap out of it. Yeah, I know it must be. When did she actually start it?
So it's going actually today to get. So I took one of my old Have Lights. At Have Lights, our tagline was always "Your warehouse on wheels." Is
Yeah.
what our tagline was, because we had big box trucks and we had every type of light bulb in them. So I have one of my old box trucks that I turned into this for her,
Right.
and I took the roll up door out, and so it's getting new doors put on it that'll be barn doors on the back.
Right.
Kind of like barn owl, golden owl,
Yeah.
and barn doors. So it's going today, and my buddy Kevin Moore, who owns Old Gold Metalworking, he's
Right.
going to be doing the doors for us on the back, and pretty excited about that. As
That's
soon as
all.
that's
Yeah.
done, she's ready to stock it, and we'll see what the what the rules are as far as being able to go out and do things. She wants to open even if we don't have food truck Fridays. Her plan is to
Well,
open
yeah, and
by May.
it should be a lot easier because I know the thing with the food trucks is that it's always a permit of being close to other restaurants because other restaurants it's competition. But yeah, how many libraries or bookstores are there that people are going to be like, hey, there's a bookshop out there, as long as she doesn't park in front of a bookstore. But
Right.
even downtown Reno, I mean, there's so many possibilities. The hardest part is going to be stocking it and stocking with the correct books, or even having to theme it out for like a week or something and be like, hey, we're having a wizard or a Harry Potter week, and all our books are Harry Potter. Come on down, dress up, and then make a thing out of it.
Yeah.
Even tag teaming with like Petite Street or something. That's my business thing. It's like always coming up with different ways. That's super cool and creative. Is it Harry Potter thing? Is she into Harry Potter? Is that what hence the owl?
So ironically, it's my 10-year-old. My 10-year-old is actually a part owner in the business. It's his idea. He's the
Cool. I
one who
like
came
that.
up with it. And
Yeah.
he's a huge Harry Potter fan. And so you got the golden snitch, you have the owls, and so it's
Yep.
all right there. Yep.
Oh, I know
Big,
about
big
the
Harry
Harry.
Potter.
I yeah, my girls, we watch the movies. They haven't read the books. We're not big readers in the house. Well, I'm not a big reader. I'm a big audio everything. So podcasts, audio books. I just I don't know. I just never been able. I can read. I think I just don't think I can read fast enough. I
You think
think
you
I
can
can
read?
read. So, all right. So obviously right now, Chantel Liu, my cousin says, I know the McClelland family. They're amazing. Kyle's wife is amazing and being crafty. Cool. So, COVID-19, coronavirus, it's affecting us a little harder as small business owners, your family. What's your daily life now? Are you pretty much at, you're able to be at the shop?
Yep.
Are the kids at home doing homeschool? How is the transition? How are you guys feeling about it? We're 3 weeks in now. What are you guys thinking?
Well, as far as so home life, yeah, kids, three of the kids are in school. So my oldest is a junior in high school, and she's kind of just managing her own stuff. And
Right.
she's taken some TMCC classes, and they're all online. So she's just kind of handling her own day-to-day stuff. My two middle kids, they go to Little Flower, and their
Oh,
Little
cool.
Flower's doing a good job at making a good regiment for them. So every morning at 8:30, my daughter's on her Zoom meeting with her class, and my son's is
Right.
like at 11:30. So throughout the day, they're both on doing their school work. And the cool thing about this is my youngest starts kindergarten next year, but he's tagging along with my first grader. So my 5-year-old is now doing first grade math and is like crushing it.
Oh,
So it's
crazy.
that's kind of a cool thing that's there.
Right.
But I get home and I cook dinner, and I try to help my wife kind of make sure that she has a break. So,
Right.
because it's different, right? All four kids are home all day. She's just only having the one at home. So it's definitely at home. It's a little bit interesting. And I have to check myself because, yeah, I do go to the office every day. I come in, there's only a few of us here. Most of my employees are working from home, or my techs are out in the field. So I don't have anybody really here in the office. There's just a few of us, but I
Right.
get to get out and at least have interaction. So
Right.
it's funny because I look at my wife and really my 17-year-old, they're having a hard time. My 17-year-old doesn't have contact with her friends.
Right. She
So
just
it's
is on
really
Zoom and
difficult.
social media, and
Yeah.
as much as we have that, it's not the same.
Nope.
And I hope that they realize this. I hope that they realize, even with my kids, I mean, my oldest is 13 and, she's dying at home, but I hope that they realize that that physical interaction that you need is there. And when we can get to it, we can get to it again, because they've spent their whole lives on their phones, on social media, never knowing, like, hey guys, we'll meet up at the park at 5 and we'll ride together, rather than a phone call or a text or something like
Yeah.
that. How's the homeschooling going then with everybody? So I mean, Little Flower's pretty much rocking it for the kids. Do you feel like they're still learning what they should be learning, or is there any frustrations with that right now?
So with my two middles, I think they're still learning everything they should be. Um, they're really regimented, so I think that they're on point to learn the stuff they need to be learning.
Right.
And my 17-year-old, I think she's got some TMCC classes. There was an email that was just sent out yesterday, actually, that was like, "Hey, whatever the grade was is what it's going to be." So
Hmm.
the question is like, is it really necessary to even do anything right now? I really feel
Right.
bad for I have some friends whose kids are seniors, and I really feel bad for those
Oh
kids.
yeah, they're not getting their senior year, their prom, their
Yeah.
um that's crap. Yeah, I mean, so yeah, if Team CC puts something out there and says your grade's gonna be
Team
done, this is
CC,
it.
I don't think it was Team CC. Alex was reading it to me last night, and it was from the school district, I think, that it came
Oh,
out, and it's like, you don't basically, grades are what they are.
right, and yeah, because
So
we're not in Washoe County. We're out in Doral, so we're at a charter school. So we completely left Washoe County for some reasons that we talk about a lot. And so they've been very well, and they have Zoom meetings every day. The teachers are on there, and we chose this school because of the level of education that our children are getting, and they've stepped up. So we don't have that like nightmare of Washoe County right now. But that's
yeah,
my biggest thing. When Washoe County was like, "Yeah, we're going to do digital days. We're going, now we're forced to because last year there was a whole shit show about it."
right.
I just hope that, yeah, my friends that are still in there, that they're actually doing something. Do you guys have any concerns now of actually catching the virus, or is pretty much everybody at home the whole time? Are you having to like strip down and get sprayed off? Like, what's going on with that?
No, not for that purpose. I don't get stripped down. No, we I'm pretty careful. Actually, Alex just asked me yesterday that I take my shoes off when I come in the house because
Mhm.
apparently a lot of which she's asked me that for a long time. I just,
It's the
not being
Asian
the
way,
great husband.
buddy. All the
I
Asians
know.
do it. We've been doing it for years.
um, but no, apparently a lot of people, it's kind of spreading a little bit because nurses, which thank you nurses for working and,
Yeah,
and taking
totally.
care of us. But nurses have to go grocery shopping too. They're wearing their shoes from the hospital. I go to the store and I get it on my shoes and then bring it home and I walk around my house. So that concept of it spreading that way. So she's just like, "Hey, can you take your shoes off at the front door?" Sure, no problem.
Right.
And she, like I said, she's asked me that for a while, and I just need to make sure I do that.
Have you
So
started wearing a mask?
I guess while I understand the depth of what's going on, I'm
Yeah.
not as scared of it as some people are, I would say. And I think it's very wise to be aware of your surroundings and aware of
Right.
who you come in contact with. No, I honestly didn't even have masks until yesterday. One of my vendors sent me a care package of masks. They
Oh,
sent like a packet, like, "Hey, here's us, and don't remember
yeah.
us in this time. Here's 6 masks."
Right.
And so I have one in my truck now because if they ever do say you have to have one to go into the store, I'll have one. And I
Yeah.
think it might be a good idea to wear one when I go into the store.
Dude, they're
But
coming out with some cool looking masks now, man. Like I looked up one time and now on Instagram and Facebook, all I see is these cool looking like Sub-Zero looking masks. And I'm like, I want one.
right,
I ordered some from Quality Event Designs. They're actually a florist and wedding planning company in Reno, and they were making a bunch. So we just ordered. They're like $10 a piece. We all have them. I have even one for Jet. Like they made one for kids too.
nice.
I kind of just have it on my neck if I go. So if I go to the store, I'll wear it. And I guess it's more for like, I don't know, like I'm the same way. I'm not too cautious about it. I'm not too scared. I'm not like touching things and licking my finger.
Right.
Um, but I mean, it's invisible. I don't see it. I don't know what's going on. The whole 10 days thing freaks me out. Like, yeah, you can get sick today and you're not going to know for 10 days. And then if I have a cough today, like Lindsay, I'll just walk in the house and I'm like, and she'll be like, "You okay? Are you sick? You have a fever?" And I'm like, "No, I just ate something really fast." And I rarely get sick. So it's one of those things. I'm the same way, but like, I also have I'm a people pleaser. So I'm always concerned about the perception of other people looking at me,
Yeah.
whether I'm Asian or a guy or whatever. Should I be wearing a Corona mask? Which is what I call them. So I have one and I wear it. Like, I went to Sprouts and I wore it. And I guess I wore it more for the other people who are like, this guy's wearing a mask. But I see a ton of people not wearing them, ton of people just doing their daily thing, not even caring. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know. And, hopefully the curve has gone. But yeah, it's kind of where we're at with
Yeah,
it.
I agree with that. I think that's probably for me, like doing it for the other people, and that
Right.
makes sense. I can see that and get along with that. I belong to a lighting organization, and I took a poll of the members yesterday or on Monday, and I asked them like, okay, if let's just say that on May 1st they say everything can return back to normal, like just as it was
Right. Right.
before this. What as far as you goes, your perception of this, how would you return back to society, back to normalcy? And so I said, would you return back as if nothing ever happened, go to the movies, do everything just as it was?
Right.
Would you still go out, but maybe only you would still limit yourself? You would make wise decisions. You wouldn't just go be nonchalant about it. Would
Right.
you go out, wear a mask, and only for purposes that you need, and kind of
Like
still
now.
be precautious like now? Or even would you, well, almost like now, or would you just be totally quarantined,
Right.
still just basically not go out at all? And the last one, nobody said I wouldn't go out at all. It was 25% said I would go back to normal, have no issues whatsoever. 55% said I would be precautious. I wouldn't go to the movies, but I would maybe go eat at a restaurant that was limiting their people, the people that they allowed in.
Right.
And 20% said I would kind of keep it where I was wearing a mask and I didn't really go out. So just gauging by the 30 people that
Hmm.
participated in that, I think that's probably a good gauge on what America is going to look like in
Right.
the next couple weeks. You're going to
Right.
have those people that go out and are rogue. They just don't even care. And this is the way it always was. I'm going to just go out and do it.
Right.
But I think the majority of people, 50% or more, are going to be like, hey, I'm going to be a little bit more precautious.
Right. And I think it's going to depend solely on vaccines. I think if there's a vaccine for it, I think if it's something where I get the coronavirus and I can just go to the hospital and get something to take care of it, then everything will start to go back to normal. But until then, I think people are going to be somewhat cautious. I know that, I'm assuming when I think of restaurants, they're going to probably sit every other table. You're going to lose half of your available space. A lot of people are still going to Amazon and order everything online. Yeah, it's crazy to think about because, listening to the news and everything, they're saying that up until November is
Yeah.
when everything will be safer, but hopefully they have a vaccine in time. I don't know. I don't know what we're going to do. I know we're anxious to get out and do something, whether it's like one of our big things is going to Disneyland. Like we go all the time. Do you guys go quite a bit?
Yeah, we have season passes. So
Yeah, we do too. So I mean, like, and I'm pissed off because I haven't had one in like 3 years, and we just got them this last time. And
same
I'm
with
like,
us.
great,
It's funny.
yeah, I'm like, great, that's cool. Are you going to extend it a month for us, Disney? But like,
They
you
are.
have to be a real. Are they?
Yeah. So basically, for every month that it's down, your pass extends out that many months.
That's the best thing I've heard all day. I mean, so basically, we're at a point where like we want to go to Disneyland, and I can't not avoid. I can't avoid people there. So are we all wearing masks? Are they going to be cool Disney masks that I can buy when I'm there? And that's where I think it's going to go. So I think we're going to get a bunch of Disney
Yeah, they're
masks.
get rid of so you know how they have the hats at Disneyland,
Yeah,
like the
it's
Donald
just
ears,
gonna.
the Goofy ears. Now it's
Yeah,
gonna be like a mask. You'll have the quack mask. You'll have Mickey's
it's.
face.
I think it's gonna be awesome. I think it's gonna be very. I think it's gonna be like. Oh God, like nurses, like nurse masks, like Mickey Nurse, Minnie Nurse, Mickey
Sure.
Doctor, stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So I'm glad that the family's doing well. And I think the transition for everything is making it hard for a lot of people, especially all of us that are having to be together for so long. Easter was a few days ago.
Yep.
Um, what did you guys do for Easter?
We actually went hiking. We went up and hiked Hunter Creek Trail. We went up as a family. We went in the mountains. We did a worship service up there with our family, just the six of us. Did our
Nice.
thing up in the mountains, kind of hiked up into a private spot. and came home, had some. We can't when we did do the Easter eggs. So we dyed Easter eggs on Saturday night.
Right, and then did a
Um,
hunt.
yeah, came home and just in our backyard with our kids, just did a little hunt, had the dinner, and I don't even know. I think after that, we just trying to remember. We watched Trolls on that you could rent the Trolls, which is cool. I actually like that concept to rent the movie at your home and
Yeah.
watch it at your home the day it comes out in theaters. That's kind of cool. But um,
Oh,
yeah,
that's
we
cool.
went.
It was supposed to come out in theaters that day?
Yeah, it was supposed to come out in theaters last Friday, and instead they released it to streaming. But they released it to where you could only rent it. You
Right.
couldn't buy it yet. You could only rent it, and so we watched it on Saturday night. But it's
Yeah.
cheap. It's $20 to rent it. I go to the movies and it's
Yeah,
$60 for my
it's
family.
right.
So
No, it's way smart. I mean, I buy movies at this point, like just
yeah,
through
we do
Apple.
too.
I'm like on there, I just buy the movie. My wife's like, "You're always buying it." I'm like, it's like $15, $16 to buy the movie. If they want to watch it one more time, we're good. But like, it's cheap.
Right. And again, I would have spent, especially if it's a movie I haven't seen, then I would have spent 3 times as much to go see it in the theater. So I might as well
Right.
just buy it anyway.
Right. Even if you didn't really want to see it, you'd still have to take the kids and sit there.
Right.
I yeah, we've been watching Jet's been watching Onward a lot. That's a good movie. And then I
Yeah.
really want to watch Bad Boys. So I've been waiting to sit down and watch that. I haven't had a chance to sit down and watch that. So the whole thing with Easter is because do you consider yourself pretty religious?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
We worship every Sunday. So
What do you think about everybody last Sunday kind of freaked out, or not everybody, a lot of people freaked out about not being able to go to church. The government was going too far, saying that religion couldn't congregate and get together. But there was online church, there was stuff, there was other things going on, and it wasn't because the government, even locally or even in California, wasn't against religion. It's just they were trying to keep people away from each other. And now I think 4 different pastors for 4 different churches are suing the governor of California. Have you researched that or heard about that? And if so, like, what do you? I mean, are people going too far?
well, so I don't know if you saw this, but yesterday, one of the pastors that opposed it and still held services, he died yesterday from
Oh
coronavirus.
yes, no,
So,
yes, and that's something I didn't share because it wasn't like in my mind it was kind of like this is why, but also I didn't want to be like you know religion. It's hard for me to talk to over religious people because it, I just don't understand it because I'm not religious.
right.
But yeah, that's crazy, right? So holy crap,
So, I mean, we're a religious family. I've been a Christian my whole life. I've gone to church my whole life, and we go
right?
every Sunday. And about 7 or 8 months ago, our family, I'd gone to the same church pretty much my whole life. And about 8 months ago, my family, we took a step back from the place we were going and said, hey, we're going to visit around
Hmm.
lots of different churches and go on our own spiritual journey. And the reason for that is because it was kind of, this is the way it's got to be. This is the way it's got to be. And I started reading the Bible more. I'm like, well, it's not. So it's funny. I posted on Sunday and I said, church is the people that gather. It's not the building that you go to.
Right.
And worshiping God is the purpose of why you even attend with people. It's not even about being collective. It's actually about just worshiping God. And that's why we went into the mountains and we worship God in nature and what he created for us.
You had your own
So
church,
we had our own worship service, and our church was my family because that was the people that I was with. And I think some people, they don't, people may not realize that going to a place doesn't make you a good person or a religious person. And going to a place twice a year doesn't necessarily make you a religious person either. It's just, that's
right?
the 2 times a year that you go, right? So I think maybe people got upset because of the concept of religion and versus state and that stuff.
Right.
But in reality, those people that go on a regular basis that I know, it was just another day to worship God, and they still did it in the way that they felt they needed to. I think getting upset over it, in my opinion, is kind of ridiculous. Look, I'm not a huge coronavirus like freaking out about it, but at the same time, I think it's wise to limit my exposure to certain things. I don't want to catch it. I don't want to share it to my 94 and 92-year-old grandparents.
Right.
So limiting our exposure to it's not a bad thing. And if you can't go to worship God on Easter Sunday with a collective of people, my belief is that God's not going to punish you for not going on Easter Sunday. He may punish you because you don't attend regularly and you don't follow the things that it says,
Right.
but not going on Easter Sunday, you know what, man? It's not something that I think we should be freaking out over. That's my
Right,
opinion.
and for those that maybe say, get sick on a Sunday normally and then they can't make it, it's not, I can imagine there's loopholes, there's other things that we're thinking about, and it's not really about that. It's it's what, again, like I don't go to church. We grew up Buddhist and Catholic, so neither of us, me and my sisters weren't taught anything. So I don't know anything about anything, and I can only assume. I obviously hear the negative and positive of things, and I it's just crazy. But yeah, that whole thing of state versus religion kind of irked me when especially the lawsuits and everything. But it's good to hear. I mean, it's good to hear like you're rational about it, and I like that. I like that. Some people I talk to, it's very one-sided, and it's like they haven't thought. Do you guys hike a lot?
I'm 34 years old on this coming Sunday. I've
Yeah.
never been to Hunter Creek Trail. I've lived here my whole life.
Oh,
So
Jesus.
the answer is no, but we had a blast and we decided that may be something that we decide to do. We might even go to Thomas
Yeah.
Creek Trail this coming Sunday. So
I would go check out Chickadee Ridge.
yeah,
Go up to
I've
Mount
seen
Rose
plenty of
Trail.
pictures.
Yeah, but make sure you bring bird seeds because the birds will actually come to your hand and they'll eat off your hand. But it's we do a ton of photo shoots there, and it turns out really well. So one of the other things is I know you're in Sparks. Actually, you're probably like 3 minutes away from me right now because I'm up by the hospital,
Yep.
Northern Nevada, and then you're over by Wild Island-ish.
Yep.
So we're like 3 minutes away from each other. We both are. You live in Sparks? You live in Reno?
We live in Spark. We live up off of up in the Vistas, Los Altos area.
Okay, so you're right next to me for everything. How are you feeling about how Sparks Reno is doing everything? Right now I'm pretty much running off of Reno. I know our mayor is going through something, so the mayor of Reno is kind of pushing through everything. But how do you feel like they are doing everything as far as business-wise goes with the coronavirus, stopping everything, slowing everything down, shutting everything down, and dealing with all of the narcs that are happening with people calling other people about businesses being open?
Yeah, I mean, it's a hard time to be in business right now, right? Like it's a struggle to figure out. In fact, I have a friend who owns a business, and one of the employees called and said, are we supposed to be open? And the next day they got a letter on their door that said, you're not an essential business, you cannot be open.
Right.
And that's hard, right? I mean, to be able to, we are considered an essential business. We're an electrical contractor and people need lighting and electrical done. So we are doing our essential work. But it's hard to be in business. And I do not love the fact that the government can come in and tell us how to live our lives and run our business. But it kind of goes back to what I said earlier. There's some wisdom in certain aspects of this whole thing. And if distancing is what's necessary to make sure that millions of people don't get this and millions of people don't die, then I think it's wise until they can come up with a cure or a vaccine. I mean, I've seen outbreak. There's a reason for not being around people. So it makes sense to do it. And so while I may not love the fact that they closed golf courses, I understand why they did it. I may not love the fact that they closed certain ways of doing business. I just understand it, and I'm not going to get all up in arms over it. My hope is that we've done this for just over a month now, and that we can maybe start to open some things back up. But the biggest thing, and I read this article yesterday, is that if people are super cavalier, then it is not going to open up as wide as we want it to, as fast as we want it to. You still, like we talked about the masks earlier, I would, if they were to say you can go to the movies, but you have to wear masks, gloves, you can only sit 6 feet apart from each other, and every other row is going to be taken, and we're going to check you with a thermometer at the door.
Right.
I'm 100% in. I will follow every single one of those rules
Right.
because I want to go see a movie. So if people are going to be jerks about it when they do open stuff up and
Right.
not follow that stuff, then it's going to take even longer.
Yeah, and I think
So
that's where we're at right now. I think that's the issue that's going on. Is a lot of people are not following the rules, just in general. You know, I mean, they had to tape off parks because people were still playing at parks, and we were like, don't play at parks. And so I think if you give general people an inch, they take a mile, and so it's tough. It's tough, and I think the city's handling it pretty well. My only frustration right now is all the loans, the unemployment, and we were on the phone a couple days ago about this because you were helping your mother-in-law or grandmother-in-law,
yeah.
our mother-in-law, who doesn't live in Nevada, trying to help her with their stuff, and I've been following the Nevada stuff a ton, and so so basically, close me, that's fine, but give me a way to survive at least. So right now, like Lindsay and I, we're just living on savings. Luckily we have savings. I know a lot of people don't. We don't get unemployment. We got an announcement yesterday that unemployment will start for sole proprietors, gig workers, middle of May is what they said, first week or middle of May. But that's another 2-3 weeks that we're waiting.
Will you get back?
Anything.
They'll back pay it though, yeah.
They'll back pay till May. I'm sorry, till March 15th. He kept saying, and then when the girl went up, she said March 28th. I think we get a set 13 weeks of it, whatever. So it's going to help when it gets here, but now we have to make it to there. But then also, what happens when they open up May 1st? Are they going to pull this whole thing of like, well, you guys are working now, right? So you only get this 4 or 5 weeks, and we're like, no, we've been, it's not a ton of money, but it'll help for sure.
Right.
God, it's just one of those things that we have to think about that I don't know why we don't think about it. So kind of the little pre-interview we talked about before, what are all right, you're planning on, what's the future then? So your wife wants to move to East Coast. When you do sell this, if you sell this, what do you want to do?
So I don't know that I would sell or if I would just manage from afar and just
Right.
kind of and help out and I've got a really good team of people that work with me here. And so I can trust the company in their hands. So I love that aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd always be involved somehow in this unless I did sell it outright. But my passion in life is to do public speaking, to do motivational speaking. So
Right.
taking my story, taking my the things that I've learned and going out and really honestly sharing it with the youth is my big thing. So I actually right before they shut down the schools, I was actually going to be going and doing my speech, my motivation to Reed High School, your
Oh,
alma
wow.
mater. I was
Yep.
going to go talk to them about it and sharing with kids. That's my ultimate passion, and trying to teach them and educate them and help them in their life. And then, so that's what I want to do. But in order to make that financially, me be able to go and do that financially is
Right.
to go in and do the speeches to corporate clients, things like that. So my topic or my thing is overcoming adversity through tenacity, ignorance, and a little bit of luck. And
Mm-hmm.
that's my goal someday, is to go out and to talk to corporate clients, to talk to entrepreneurs, to talk to high school youth. And really the goal in mind is, hey, lots of stuff is going to happen to you in your life. And there's going to be challenges. There's going to be ups. There's going to be downs. Those things that happen to you are instances in your life. It's
Right.
how you deal with them, how you accept them, how you mold and change with them. That's what you can control, and that's what matters the most. and you need to be prepared for it. And you also need to make sure that you have a good positive attitude when you come through it. Because life happens and sometimes it sucks. Because guess what? Coronavirus, nobody was here prepared for it. But
Right.
yet it's how you react to the pandemic. It's how you take this time. I mean, plenty of people right now are sitting on their couch. It's 11:42 in the morning and they're probably already drunk. They've watched 3 episodes of Jerry Springer and
Right.
they're eating potato chips, right? So you can react in that way. That's fine. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to give you the best outcome. So how
I
you
agree.
react to situations you can't change is ultimately what shapes you as an individual in life. And you know that by the things you've overcome in life.
Yeah, I mean, I always call myself a hustler, right? So I hustle, I get what I need. If I need more money, I find a way to get more money without stealing it. Although it's a lot easier to steal stuff, let's be honest. Do you feel like talking to these youth? I have this drawback because when I talk to kids now, I get very like I don't want to say agitated. I'm frustrated with them with the goals of, and maybe this is where it's going, the goals of I just want to TikTok all day, I just want to stream, and that's where I'm going to make my money. And I can only assume that that's how our parents felt when we were like, Dad, I want to be a rock star, I want to be, I want to sing, and I want to do that. Do you feel like they still have the same drive that we had when we were their age, or are they just going to assume that things are going to happen the way that they're going to happen?
I think that there's a difference in drive nowadays. I do believe that with technology, it's created different mindsets in the youth. I mean, you and I are both considered millennials, but Gen Z now is the next upcoming generation. And
Right.
I think that I do believe that there's a mind shift change that's happened, a mindset shift that's happened in kids. But I don't know, some of the statistics are pretty intriguing. More younger kids are starting businesses now than ever before.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's kind of an encouragement. That shows that there's some drive in that sense. I do think that certain types of kids are not going to have any drive and there's going to be a difficulty in getting them to do things. But I also believe that the kids nowadays are the ones that were born and raised during the recession of 2008, 2009. So
Right.
there's some aspect of them seeing that too. And I do believe there is some drive there. Getting them to make those changes in their life, I'm hoping to be able to influence them one way or another. But in fairness, right now, I think one thing, especially right now with kids being at home, is a super important time for parents to really pay attention, right? It's easy to throw your kids on an iPad and say, hey, play games, watch TV, leave me alone.
Right.
It's really important for parents to engage. I mean, I see your videos that you engage with Jet all the time, and your girls are always creating videos and doing stuff. I mean, that parenting is the most crucial thing that you can be doing. And I applaud you for being a great parent in that way and making sure that that your kids are learning and being engaged and vibrant. That's
Right.
what's important right now. And parents really have to make sure they step up and take that charge and roll with it.
Thanks, man. I mean, yeah, we still feel guilty to a point, and I think in general, like obviously, if the coronavirus wasn't happening, I think that we're allowed to give all parents now a little bit of a break, right? Because we're with them so much that if we have to throw them
Sure.
on the TV so we can get something done, totally
Oh,
get it.
yeah.
So what we're talking about is more of in general.
Right.
But yeah, like when my girls are on TikTok all day, they're making these videos. I'm like, it's great. It's their creativity. They're dancing, they're singing, they're hanging out. Jet's almost 2, so he just runs around and just yells. And so it's just cute to watch him go around. Um, I ultimately, one thing you said was kids are starting their own businesses, and I like that because both my wife and I are entrepreneurs. We both own our own businesses. My dad owned his own business. My wife's parents own their own businesses. So they're growing up in a world of entrepreneurs, and I want them to be an entrepreneur. Into what, I have no idea, but I like the idea of them being able to control what they do in their life, being able to make their own money and not rely on somebody else that may fire them at any given second. And we can see now that I think a lot of people are scared of that because as soon as something like this happens, there's no backup. Um, do you think that's why kids are opening businesses more now? Do you feel like that's the route that they're going?
Yeah, I think I do believe that that's a big take on it. I do believe that entrepreneurialism is being pushed for sure right now. I mean, you know that I'm a part of the entrepreneurs organization here
Mm-hmm.
in Reno, and a great organization. There's a lot of positive impact that's come from Shark Tank. I know that TV show has impacted many
Yeah.
lives. So I think that just seeing, I also believe that our society, I was talking about this with somebody the other day, back in the 50s and stuff, it was all mom and pop shops and everything was local and homegrown and things like that. And then we see this swing and this dynamic go all the way out here, and you've got huge giant corporations. You've got Walmarts and Walgreens and McDonald's and all these huge giant corporations.
Right.
And I think we're actually starting to see a shift. Somebody asked me, we were talking about the bookstore earlier. Somebody's like, well, why a bookstore? You've got Barnes & Noble, you have Amazon. There's actually this dynamic of people coming back to wanting to shop at independent bookshops, mom and pop restaurants, our community. The one thing that we should be able to applaud is that everybody's talking about go local. Yesterday, they started a classmate of mine, Corey Hunt, and a couple people
Mm.
started this Midtown Bingo, where you go and you eat at different restaurants and stuff, and to
Oh,
support
I saw
Midtown.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think
That's
that,
cool.
yeah, so we're supporting the local community. We're coming back. We're not that corporations are bad. I think they're important in society, but we're supporting local mom and pop shops. We're supporting the
Right.
people that live in our communities. And I think that's really important. So kids are seeing that, they're being that, it's kind of the return to the vinyl records. We're
Right.
returning to independent bookstores, returning to not eating at Chili's, but going to a local restaurant instead. So I
Right.
think that that's really what a huge part in why kids are starting businesses, because we're coming back into that swing in the pendulum.
Right. And I mean, I always feel like it's important to, because, I'm a mom and pop shop, you're a mom and pop shop. So I feel like it's important to support the locals, because when stuff like this does happen, we don't get the help that we need. And, I know particular for Lindsay and I, with any help that we've been asking for, it's always, we're seeing the money go out, but we're not seeing it come to us. So it's important that, and I've had a ton of support. I've been selling these gift certificates like all month, and it's made enough that it's like I, can keep going, knowing that
Right.
I'm going to be shooting a crap ton of photos in the next like 6 months to a year that I've already been paid for.
Right.
But that's kind of the life that we're at right now. So we have a good 10 minutes left here. What I want to kind of focus on you is when I think about you, I automatically think about success, right? I think that you're a successful person, and you're the type of person that I would send anybody to kind of to talk about. So you kind of fell into this role at the beginning, went up, built up, which is not actually what I thought. I thought that somehow somebody's like, "Hey, you want to buy this?" And you're like, "I'm going to buy this." What would you tell anybody now starting a business now? Like, what is the goal? What do they need to have in order to make this successful? Because so many people are starting things and ending it so quickly. And I think that's just our nature, right? Somebody starts a YouTube channel, they let it die. Somebody starts a stream, they let it die. What is it that they need to do in order to actually be successful?
Well, and to that point, 1 in every 5 businesses fails after the first year. So
Right.
I think that's something to note. And I guess the first thing that you have to understand is that it's not easy. If you're looking for easy, I know a guy that always wanted easy, right? And there's no such thing as an easy button. There's no such thing as, I'm going to join this multi-level marketing thing because this guy in my upstream is making $1 million. Well, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
your guy in the upstream is probably making $1 million because you worked really, really hard. Even multi-level marketing businesses can be successful. It's how much effort are you going to be putting into it? How much work are you going to be giving it? An entrepreneur, when you're starting a business, you're not going to see your family a lot. You're going to be putting in 60, 70, 80 hours a week
Right.
because that's what's required. I mean, if one thing I know about you is that our paths have crossed a couple times in life, but I remember when you were working at, I forget the name of it. It was, maybe it was called The Grill out there on
Oh, Vista Grill.
Fisk,
Yeah.
the Vista Grill.
Yeah.
You're working at Vista Grill, you're doing massage, and we had our Christmas party out there. You were waiting tables, and you said,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to start photography. you had 3 jobs at once. You were working hard. It was a grind. Now you're a successful entrepreneur. You've got a great company. Your shots are amazing,
Shoot, I don't even
but
remember that.
you didn't, I remember, you did not, you didn't just lay down and expect people to give it to you. You worked
Right.
really hard. That's what it's going to take is putting in the effort and working hard. The other thing that's super important, I mean, I've got right here, I have a daily, this is Oak Journal. A buddy of mine owns this company, and
Ooh.
this is a daily schedule planner. And
Right.
it starts out every day. I fill out what I'm thankful for. What am I thankful for? And actually today I wrote down, I am grateful for the COVID-19 challenging me in my life. Like,
Oh,
it's a
wow.
challenge and I'm grateful for
Right.
it.
Turn it into
So
a positive.
exactly. And so you have to have a plan and a goal every single day. If you don't have a plan, I know, I've ridden in plenty of Ubers, and I rode in this one guy's Uber, and he said, I start every morning at 6 a.m. and I don't stop until I've made at least $400 in the day.
Oh, yeah.
He had a goal, and so if he made it by 8 a.m., he was happy. If he made it by 10 p.m., he worked until he made that amount of money. You have to have a goal. You have to have it set so that you know where you want to be and
Right.
what it's going to take to get there.
Well, you can also
And
control your income, control what you're making. And if you fail, it's on your own.
right. And I think the last thing is you have to have a positive attitude. I mean, there's many, many other things, but like I said earlier, you have no control of what's going to happen to you in your life. You only have control of how you react to what happens. And if you have a negative attitude, everything is going to be bad. But if you have a positive attitude and you really want to see the good in other people,
Right.
there's this thought, assume good always. So when I look at you, I assume good intentions. Like, if you cough, I don't think you're trying to be malicious. You're just coughing, and it was an
Right.
accident that you coughed out in front of everybody,
Right.
right? So it wasn't malicious. So if I assume good in everybody and I assume good in my interactions and my dealings, that's really those 3 things: set a goal, work hard, and be positive. A
Right.
lot of people can be successful off of that.
Um, it's weird because, like, when I was doing massage, and I've always been in the food industry, so Western Village Steakhouse, Denny's, Vista Grill. I remember being always having to tell people that I was doing something else, right? So, like, I was a massage therapist, but obviously the massage was fine. I wasn't making enough just to do massage, so I had to serve on the side or do all that. And I remember feeling very ashamed about it at the time. Now, when I think about it, I'm proud of what I did, and the people that do that. But even to this day, when I talk to people about photography, they always go, "What else do you do besides photography?" And I'm always like, "No, it's just photography. Like, I make more doing this than I've ever made in my entire life. It's just, I focused on it." So when you brought that up, it kind of brought up that insecurity of, like, oh my God, I used to do that. I used to tell people all the time, like, yeah, I'm going to be doing this. Oh no, I have a massage business, and I would try to give out a business card or something and try to push that. And even when I did network marketing, I did the same thing because I've always done as much as I possibly can. But yeah, I agree. I think it's about the drive, and I think it's about the positivity is huge. I think
Yep.
being a positive person in general, there's always something that we think is funny about somebody who's negative all the time, but ultimately that negativity pulls on yourself, whether you're making fun of somebody, joking, comedians do all the time. But then there's also something about somebody who's uber positive about everything. And that's the person that you're like, oh, you take a step back, like, I kind of want to be like them. There's a bad thing that's happening, but they're making it positive, and then somehow that karma, that the secret, that whatever comes around and turns it back on them. So I like that you said that. All right, I'm going to give you a good 30-second spiel here, and then we're going to come off of live, and I'll keep you on. But we're going to do a 30-second spiel of whatever you want. Pimp your company, pimp whatever out, wife's company. Let's let people know. That way we have a good end to where they can find you guys.
Gotcha. Well, first, thank you for having me on. I really appreciate this. Have Lights Will Travel. We're a local electrical contractor that we focus on lighting. So we do LED lighting upgrades, energy efficiencies, things like that. We sell lighting. So if you want to get lighting for your home, we sell commercial grade lighting at a reasonable price. So you don't have to go to Home Depot. You can come buy it from us. We're over off of kind of Prater and Sparks Boulevard. So follow us on Instagram, follow us on the other one, Facebook, that we're on right now. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Have Lights Will Travel. And then my wife, please go on to Instagram and follow Golden Owl Bookshop. You can see the progress that we've made on the book truck, and you can start to support her local business. You can even download audiobooks and give her the credit instead of giving it to Amazon. So there's benefits to supporting local businesses. So I'll make sure she shares that on her Instagram page, and you can go find it. But yeah, Golden Owl Bookshop and Have Lights Will Travel. Thank you so much, Jeremy. Appreciate you.
Yeah, man. Thank you. So I will say that I did, you made me some custom LED lights sometime in the last year, and I used them at my studio before I closed my studio, and I still have them. So they're still awesome. They turned out really well. So I have a couple YouTube videos on that and some shots, but you made something that I couldn't buy anywhere. And you also in the past made us custom black lights that we could plug into a wall, because I'm not an electrician. Like, I don't know how to like hot wire into whatever. So I'm like, I called you and I was like, I need black lights. I need them to stand on something, and I need them to plug into a wall. And you made it super quick, super easy. So yeah, it's good to have that local, because we always think of Home Depot and Lowe's. We actually don't think about lighting. Like, when, normally people think of lighting, that's where they go. I'm going to go give a like and check out the bookshop. I think that's super unique and cool, and I love it. I love anything that travels. I even have a guy that, washes our car at the house. We're looking for a dog groomer, so all that stuff. So I appreciate your time, man. Thank you so much for doing this. Stay on the line. And Facebook, we are out. Cool. Thanks, buddy. How did it go?
Yeah, that was great, man. Thanks for doing this. This is cool.
No, thank you. It's fun. It's been cool. It's been unique. I'm still trying to find I'm still trying to find my voice and what I want to talk about. And ultimately, the reason I started this was I feel like I know people know me, but I don't know like people. I've just never gotten into like learning about people. And I feel like at 36 now, it's my time to kind of figure out who everybody has a story. I have a story, you have a story, and I want that story to kind of come out a little bit. And, if I can promote somebody's business at the same time, that's what I want to do as well. What do you got going on the rest of the day?
I appreciate that.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I have to do payroll. That's today. That's fun. And then my aunt has a nonprofit that I'm helping her run. And so we have a meeting about that. Meetings today.
Yeah. Is everything Zoom meetings?
Well, my aunt's coming here.
Cool.
She's cool it's just her and I. So
yeah,
we'll be here, but yeah, we're going to we've actually started 1 minute challenges. So basically we work out for 1 minute every couple hours in the office.
Wow.
And we've been going on walks for lunch. So I'm going to submit payroll really fast. Should take me a few minutes. And then I'm going to go, we're going to go on a walk. So it'll be kind of cool.
Hey, have you heard of micro habits? There's a book out, and I can't remember the name of the book, but it's on my audiobooks, and I haven't read it yet, but I know what it's about. But basically creating micro habits throughout the day is more beneficial to create habits than waiting for the 30 days of doing something at a time. So one thing that I learned from the author is he just did micro habits throughout his day. So every time he goes to the bathroom, he goes pee, he comes out and he does 2 push-ups. So I've been doing that for like 2 weeks now. Every time I go to the bathroom, I come out, I do 5 push-ups. And at the end of the day, and I drink a ton of water every day, I'm doing like 50, 60, 70 push-ups every single day, that instead of me going, I just want to do 70 push-ups real quick, I won't do it because I'll keep pushing it off. So that's kind of what you were talking about, the 1 minute workouts every couple hours.
You got to come by the office if you're down to. I have one of these oak journals.
Yeah.
I have an extra one. I'll give it to you.
Okay.
It's a 90-day journal thing, and it has all the habits and everything. But so you keep track of your habits, your daily habits, your habit tracker. So every day I keep track of those little habits, and those are my little habits, like you're talking about.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I think it's just little stuff like that, especially in the day to day. And I'm very like anal, very analytical, and very I need things to happen at a certain time. Like when I do these podcasts, it's an hour long. this is my little scheduler here that I use every day. These numbers actually coincide with a thing I have back here. So 1 means to do something. I have to do like 12 things every day. Otherwise I can't go to sleep.
Gotcha.
It's a little crazy. But yeah, so I love that. Daily habits it's kind of in my world. Like I can do push up every pee. Like that's
right?
cool. Yeah.
Like 10 push-ups every pee. I
Yeah.
peed 15 times today. Holy smokes.
Like I don't want to pee anymore. Like I'm cool.
Right.
Like what do I do to stop peeing? That's kind of where it's
That's
at.
funny.
Awesome, buddy. All right. Well, I'm going to let you go. I got a busy day. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time. And I'll let you know in this post, the Facebook, it'll just go on Facebook. So you're more than welcome to comment. I think I saw a couple comments from Chantel on there.
Awesome.
But man, yeah, thank you so much. I'm glad you're doing well.
Thanks, man. You too. Take care. And if you need anything, just let us know. I think we have a shoot with you whenever this comes back. I think my mother-in-law bought us that shoot. So.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, man. That'll be good. Yeah. Family stuff. It'll be fun.
Make it happen, man.
All right, buddy. All right. You can end the meeting whenever.
Right. Take care, bud.
Later.
Bye.